Anthony Richardson might be the most athletic quarterback ever.
No.
Anthony Richardson looked very good in this combine.
No, he didn't. He looked very athletic.
I was going to say Anthony Richardson is the most athletic quarterback prospect or person to ever enter in the NFL.
Okay.
Like he's
quarterback person to ever
person.
Quarterback.
You know, my favorite quarterback person right now is Dak Prescott.
Nothing about those words were wrong.
I mean,
it's just weird.
I'm just trying to think it through.
The only ones that like come to mind that might rival him is like RG3.
I was going to say RG3. RG3 ran a 4.38.
No, but yeah,
vertical.
He was a collegiate champion in hurdles.
I mean, Anthony Richardson had himself a weekend, but can we put into context why we're saying Anthony Richardson is the most athletic quarterback to ever enter in the NFL?
Don't say we.
Adam is saying he's the most athletic quarterback to ever enter into the NFL. Athletic. This is not talking about. This is strictly talking
You're not saying
tangibles.
he's the best quarterback. You're just talking about most athletic.
Strictly tangibles. Anthony Richardson's the most athletic quarterback to ever enter the NFL. Ran a 4.43. That's fourth among quarterbacks since 2003. 40.5-inch vert, best since 2003. 10 foot 9-inch broad jump, best since 2003. And then if we're putting that into perspective, who he is as a player, he's taller than George Kittle, bigger hands than D-Hop, higher vert than Devontae Adams, and a longer broad jump than OBJ.
This guy's a quarterback?
He's a quarterback.
He should be a tight end.
You kept saying
Anthony Richardson should be a tight end.
Wait, that's a good take.
Anthony Richardson would be a great tight end.
Because he can't throw for shit.
Dude, well, that's not totally true.
Dude, he could throw it far. He can throw it very far.
He made some good throws. He made some good accurate throws, led his receivers.
Bro,
but it was against no defense. I totally understand that. But like the thought that a quarterback can't develop once he gets into the league is stupid. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen with Josh Allen. We've seen it happen with Daniel Jones.
Do you think that Anthony Richardson is going to pan out as a project in the NFL similar to Josh Allen?
Well, that's
similar to Josh Allen. Now you're creating standards that are just tough because Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the league right now, and to have that expectation is a little steep. But I do think he can develop his game and can become a good passer. Cam Newton became a pretty good passer. He was never extremely accurate, but he had great arm strength. He had great throwing power.
Yeah.
And because of his arm strength, he could finesse where he had to finesse.
Newton, that MVP season.
Yeah. You get him a deep threat like Ted Ginn, like that made the Panthers offense so powerful, just so explosive. And Cam's legs you could create so much offense with that. I think you can do a similar thing with Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying he's Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But Cam Newton was a Heisman winner, won the national championship in college.
I was gonna say there's levels to this.
Yeah, different thing. But I'm just saying in terms of development, I'm not expecting Josh Allen. I'm not expecting Cam Newton. I'm not expecting RG3 because RG3 before he got hurt with injuries and all that stuff was fucking amazing. I mean, he was
so good.
He would have been better than Andrew Luck if he would have never got hurt.
What ifs.
Yeah, but he can develop and improve his game and become better as a passer. So,
well, you could make the argument that if RG3 came into the NFL today, he'd be far more successful. I just think today's NFL.
No.
You don't think so?
He would have RG3 if it wasn't for injuries, he'd be a top 3-2 quarterback in the league today. RG3 was an amazing passer, a phenomenal passer. RG3 was Michael Vick. It was a great passer, Michael Vick.
He was an upgraded Michael Vick.
He was an upgraded Michael Vick.
He was so good.
I feel like we should trust him.
No, I'm not refuting it at all. I'm just thinking through. Like, I think today's NFL is far more supportive of athletic projects than in the past.
But RG3 wasn't a project.
But the Redskins back then, they were one of those teams that's like, hey, we're going to use your strengths and try and win like that. I think it was Kyle Shanahan was on that offense. It was like the Shanahan, McVay, all those dudes' offense. Yeah. Like they put it to work and he was fucking awesome. And that was before defenses knew how to contain and play running quarterbacks.
But
that's why he was so successful.
If RG3 would have been a pocket passer, he would have been a phenomenal pocket passer. Like his passing skills were elite. He was good in every aspect.
I'm buying the Anthony Richardson hype. The only reason I'm buying the Anthony Richardson hype, regardless of college production, is because I saw what coming into the league from an athletic standpoint, a Russian quarterback did for draft stock. Lamar Jackson dropped tremendously. It wasn't that yes, he won the Heisman, but as a team perspective, Louisville, I think, went 8-5 that year. I was just looking it up. They weren't that good of a team. They weren't that explosive.
Historian, bro.
Well, Google.
A Google historian.
Yeah, Google historian.
So
I'm just saying, I think you have to still draft Bryce Young, but after that, if I'm swinging for the fences, if we're talking based off of the Aaron Rodgers, just purely off of athleticism, Anthony Richardson is worth a shot.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I just don't buy in at all to the hype. You brought up Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson won a Heisman Trophy. All right. Anthony Richardson has never had a good season in college where you've seen that guy in his full stats and you're like, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
But neither
he's
did
never
Josh
even been
Allen.
one of them. He's never.
Neither did Josh.
But neither
I
did
don't
Josh.
care.
But that's my point.
But that's the only example you can think of with that.
Yes, exactly. How many Josh Allens?
Agree, but that's
He's
what
the
I'm,
only example you can think of.
Agree, but that's why at this point I'm saying I'm willing to take chances because if how
Because
many
of one guy
quarterbacks
that's panned
how many
out.
quarterbacks have we
finish what I'm
potentially
trying to say, though.
overlooked?
I understand. Josh Allen, he's the only one I can think of like a project like that where he wasn't that awesome in college, but he's got these tangibles that you want to work with. He worked out. I can't name another one like that personally. Off the top of my
Worked
head.
out, yes.
Anthony Richardson was never one of the best quarterbacks in the country, let alone the best quarterbacks in the SEC. How the fuck are you going to draft a guy who loses to Vanderbilt last year? He threw 400 yards, but he threw 50 times.
Maybe the team sucked. I don't know.
The team did not suck. It's Florida. They get really good recruits every single
The team
year.
could also still suck though.
They're not that good, but they're not bad either. I just don't see. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I'd rather draft over Anthony Richardson.
So which
right now.
quarterbacks would in this draft would you rather take
fun.
over Anthony Richardson?
Off the top of my head, or do you got a list?
Yeah, I got a few.
All right.
Would you rather take Bryce
Is this
Young?
a Jack game?
I think it's
Yes.
dependent on team, to be fair. Like Richardson, like if I have a set quarterback, I'm more comfortable taking Richardson. A quarterback that like, if I have a Kirk
It
Cousins.
does depend on
Minnesota-
situation.
if I'm the Vikings, I would draft a Richardson.
If I'm the Colts, I would. I've been swinging. I've been trying to get Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, all these old heads. I at least take a chance,
Yeah.
like on a
So I
young
think it's
athletic
team
guy.
dependent,
It is
but-
team
It is.
dependent.
You'd rather take Bryce Young,
Yes.
CJ Stroud,
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett?
Yeah.
Nah.
I'd rather have Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett ran a 4.5 40. He had one of the top 2 or 3 hardest throws, like 62 miles an hour.
That doesn't
You'd
at the
rather
combine.
draft.
That
You'd
doesn't
rather
mean shit,
draft
though.
And he's
Stetson
a
Bennett
two-
over Anthony
Yes,
Richardson.
and he's a 2-time national champion with Georgia. You don't just luck into championships. Yes,
AJ
they had-
McCarron
yes, they had-
won 3.
Let me talk for once.
What are we doing here?
Fucking Christ, dude. Every time I try to start talking
Keep going.
and have a point,
Keep
you
going.
fucking
Just
interrupt
keep
me.
going. Keep going.
All right, I'm just saying, he's a 2-time national champion for a reason. You don't just luck into that. He was a Heisman finalist this year, which means he was actually one of the best players in the entire country. Yeah, Georgia had great defenses and everything like that, but he falls out in the best games. He has great like measurables and everything like that. Yeah, he's a little shorter. People don't think he's that athletic, but he ran a 4.5 40. His arm is huge. He's a big game player. He's won 2 titles. I don't see why you would want to draft Anthony Richardson over him. I get he's got these tangibles. He's a freak, but
Yeah. Well, one guy won. Stetson Bennett won, and winning matters a lot.
So did
But-
AJ McCarron. He
I
won
was gonna
3.
say, I
and he was also second in Heisman.
I think that's a
that
great
year.
point. Yeah, I think it's a great point.
AJ McCarron didn't
Because
measure like
programs
Stetson, though.
win,
But-
teams win.
Thank you.
We talk about wins not being a QB stat, and especially in college, I think that's probably even more true.
He's also 27 already. 26.
Stetson Bennett, so that
I think
factors in as well.
Yeah, he's 25, 26.
26.
But
yeah.
so I mean, I would take Richardson over him because I care about the wins less. I think you put another guy in that Georgia quarterback, and he's probably going to win too because Georgia has that type of program. Stetson Bennett was a walk on, right? So it's like a lot of other quarterbacks could have gone in and won. So I'm not. I don't care too much about winning there, even though I do think wins matter. And it's not like Richardson was at a bad program like Florida, like you said. But the tangibles, as we like to say, shown. You know, shown is the past tense of shine.
Really?
Yes, the tangible.
Really?
I believe so.
I don't think.
Showing light? Is that what you're about to say?
Shown.
Yeah.
Shine.
Anyways, the tangibles were so bright
shined?
that I will take Richardson's upside
Thank you.
over a guy like Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
And I might consider it over a guy like CJ Stroud.
What about
if
over CJ
CJ
Stroud?
Stroud is the Jared if Jared Goff is CJ Stroud's comparison, like we heard last week from Sam Munson on PFF, then I'm like, look, yeah, higher floor than Richardson, but the ceiling for Richardson, if he can put it together, oh my God, it's scary.
Well, the reason I would
I
take,
got more quarterback, 2 more, but yeah, keep going.
Well, the reason I would take Anthony Richardson over a Stetson Bennett or really be willing to take on that risk is because I wonder how many quarterbacks have we actually overlooked in the past because they had the tangibles, but from a measurement standpoint or statistics, they were just trash. I feel like Josh Allen was like the first quarterback in a long time where you overlooked kind of what he did in college and were like, okay, that dude tests off the charts and I'm willing to take on that project. So I'm just curious, like how many quarterbacks have we overlooked? And Anthony Richardson, now that we're getting in this place where it's like, all right, we've seen a project there. We've seen a Lamar Jackson who is also considered somewhat of a project. I could justify drafting him as the third quarterback. If I'm the Colts, I could draft him. If I'm the Vegas Raiders, I could draft him. Like, I'm not saying the Houston Texans go draft Anthony Richardson over Bryce Young. You know what Bryce Young is. But if it's like, if CJ Stroud drops, maybe you're drafting CJ. He's been, more productive at Ohio State. But Anthony Richardson, I think from a testing standpoint, is worth the pick at this point.
If a team reached and traded up for a guy like Trey Lance, they should do it for Anthony Richardson too.
Good point.
How many quarterbacks would you take over that bum from Florida, Anthony Richardson? Let me know in the comments if you agree with me or not. Remember to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our socials.